In this chapter, we will learn how to visualize data using advanced yet simple functions like histogram, facet, density, box plots, bin2d, and more. First is a histogram. Previously, what we have learned is to plot a single variable histogram. And of course, histograms are used only to plot the count of a single variable. But by using these methods, we can define multiple variables in the histogram plot. Save the x variable, for example mpg, in the R object h. Now, to add a second variable in the histogram, for example differentiate distribution mpg based on cyl, use AES fill is equal to cyl in the histogram function. Then, we can see in the diagram, we illuminate two variables using histogram. Further, we can also plot multiple groups using another option called facet. For example, in our first plot, we have divided our plot into three categories of cyl. In the second plot, we have divided the data into three distinct groups, one by color, that is cyl, and gear by facet. And the plot BIS 345 resembles gear 345, cyl 468 by color, pink, green, and blue. In the third plot, we have added both cyl and gear using facet grid cyl tilde gear. Like this, we can add n number of variables in the facet grid function for multivariable analysis. The same thing we can apply for box plot using box plot. I believe you have noticed in a previous chapter we have one box plot at a time, or else we use par function mfrow to display multiple box plots in a single plot. So let's see how can we do that. To apply box plot, of course, we need discrete variables. So we will convert CARB data column into a factor variable. Now first, like others, we have to do the aesthetics AES mapping of x and y. Then using box plot, we will display multiple plots in a single plot. Further, we can also add multiple variables like what we did in our facet grid example is by adding another variable like cyl in AES mapping of box plot. Density plots are again another types of plot where we can plot the density with a creative visualization. To apply density plot, just type density, and again to add another variable, use fill carb color is equal to carb inside the AES mapping of density with alpha is equal to 0.4 to set the transparency of the density plots. The last one is bin2d, is again a kind of a density plot. We can see we have first loaded the AES mapping of x and y of the iris dataset in D2, then using the R object with bin2d to display the density. Further, again, to add a new variable, use AES color is equal to species. With this bin2d, we can create heat maps and also with another function, title. I believe we have learned a lot of ways to visualize our data. So next, we will use a small case study to understand the data by using the visualization methods that we have learned so far.